In the last episode of MJ Sailing, we rented a scooter to tour the island of St. Bart's, visiting many of its numerous and stunning beaches. Make a stop at the airport to watch the planes come in for their alarmingly low landings. And take advantage of the nude beach of Anse de Colombier.
Plans have changed. We are staying in St. Bart's, but we're going to get the heck out of this rolly anchorage and go around the corner to Anse de Colombier every time. Georgie says, get me out of this. I don't want to be on passage anymore. But we're not actually on passage, we're just at anchor. So we're going to go somewhere calm for a few days. So, move it around the corner, drop the ball, head out.
Okay. Well, one of the things we've been trying to play with is the sheeting angle for the head sail. Now, Precision did a great job getting it so it's pretty much a universal. That's kind of one of the beauties of the Yankee cut that we have, because we're a cutter rig, is the fact that we don't need to adjust our foot position, our sheeting position too often. But I still like to play with it. So one of the things while in St. Barth we picked up was the Y-card low friction rings, and what that's going to allow us to do is we can do something kind of like 3D sheeting. You see it on a lot of open boats, open 40s, TP 52s. So yeah, we love to play around with this, kind of just get a feel for it, since we're not 100% sure where the old sheeting angle was with the old head sail. So it's just, you know, kind of gives us something to do when we're out sailing. So basically all it is a Dyneema sheet. This is just AM steel, 3/16 inch. There's not a lot of friction on this, so I can, as you can see, especially like that, I can adjust it as needed. Cleats back, just a quick little line. I ended up bowling on it. So then I can take it off when I'm not using this. But what it's going to do is it allows me to, as you can see, it allows me to pull down the sheeting angle as needed, so I can pull it forward when we're going downwind. And then when we're going upwind, I can release it and give us a little bit more a pull back instead of just down. So it really depends on what point of sail that we're on. Right now we're going fairly close hauled. So what you'd end up doing is you'd end up lifting it out. It's the same thing as on an adjustable car, moving the car backwards. So when we want to, when we're going downwind and we want pulled down on the actual sheet, what we do is we, instead of moving a car forward like we would on our last boat, this we end up pulling down, and it ends up bringing that sheeting position down and closer to the deck, and it just acts like we're adjustable car. Normally on a boat like this, I would have added a track, but again, our big thing is we don't want any deck penetrations at all. So we don't want anything that's bolted in through the deck that could be a potential leak point. This allows me to use my tow rail as intended, and I can still adjust everything. Again, on our head sail, it's not the most important. What I'm going to end up doing is probably transferring this over to our staysail, which was not cut correctly. And that one I do really have to adjust back and forth for if we're going into the wind close hauled, or if we're going downwind, if we're reaching or whatever. So this is going to be a better solution over on our staysail than it is here. But it's fun to play with, and it's something that you can easily add. This is like $20. This block is something that's like $13, $14 back in the States. Dyneema sheet, we have it of course, but something like this is another $5 maybe worth type of thing, and it gives you that full adjustment that you would have by spending thousands of dollars on a track, an adjustable car, and all those things right here. Not a tripping hazard, so you're not going to stub your toes on it, but it's just a really cool way of doing it.
turtle chilling right next to our boat.
And goats.
Turtles and goats. Went to town today to check the weather, and the course that we would want to take to get to Dominica is, would you say it was like 140, 150 degrees?
It was 147.
So the course we would want to take from St. Bart's to Dominica is 147 degrees. Wind is normally around 90 degrees to the east. Turns out this boat doesn't beat as well as we thought, so we were in for a slog anyway. Trip was going to take 36, a little over hours, but it turned out that less than 24 hours later the winds were going to start coming out of the southeast, so pretty much the direction we needed to go. And then the question was, okay, do we go to St. Kitts because it's kind of halfway, we can get there overnight, then do we wait that out for winds to get down? And after some talking we realized that we really don't want to beat our way somewhere new. And we also have Antigua Race Week coming up, and we're committed to a friend's boat. Not only that, but we really, really want to be a part of that, especially after seeing the Volet de St. Barth here. The Antigua one's going to be a bit more casual and laid back, but we're still really looking forward. So we have 10 days until we have to be there. So it was, do we force ourselves to get to these southern islands to then try and get back north for the race? And we decided that no, we didn't actually want to do that. So, because while we're preparing for our Atlanta crossing coming up in a month or so, we have all these necessary boat projects that we need to do. We are just going to leave Antigua, go to St. Martin, anchor ourselves there, and knock out all these projects just before we left. But we kind of realized that there's no reason not to do them now. They can be done in advance. So after having seen Anse de Colombier the other day after hiking here and how nice and calm and picturesque it is, and we're already here, decided just to come around the corner, 2.5 miles from Gustavia, drop anchor, and we'll spend the next week or so getting a lot of these boat projects done. But we're actually just really happy because our schedule has been jam-packed lately with events. It's been a ton of fun, but we just need a little chance to unwind and focus on the boats. So that's what we've decided to do here. And of course, once again, beautiful beach in St. Bart's. You can't get away from them. So a little bit of work, a little bit of play, but it will be nice actually just to sit and get these boat projects out of the way that we've been putting off since we left Indian Town. So I think we're both kind of looking forward to that. Maybe me more than Matt. You found a cuddle buddy.
I did find one.
The best one in the world.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like what's about to come.
Yeah. Don't like the noise of the grinder, do you? Huh? Sitting in St. Bart's, finally found a area that we're not going to disrupt too many people with our grinding. If you remember from previous episodes, we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with our traveler. Finally decided now's the time to cut it off. We've been waiting. So many times we get into places and there's just a bunch of tourists around or something. We don't want to disturb their vacation. You know, cruisers, they've got a bunch of time. People on vacation, we don't want to disturb their time because this is maybe their once-in-a-lifetime chance to get down to these places, and the last thing we want to do is hear a grinder going. But we found this place. It's protected from the wind, and I can finally cut off the traveler. Nice part about it is it's aluminum, so it's not really a pollutant where I'm cutting. We'll vacuum it all up, of course, but really don't have to worry about the dust coming off, except for it's just inconvenience for us, and we don't want other things obviously chowing down on it either. But so we're going to vacuum it all up. We got that set. We've got the grinder set. Got my grinding wheel to cut it off. Just going to slice it off, the 4 or 8 feet of it. Cut that off and then grind it down flush with the deck, and then we'll paint that up so we don't have to worry about corrosion then forming, and eventually paint it for the Dodger floor. Should be fairly quick and easy. We timed it where everyone's on shore or away from their boat. Again, trying not to piss off too many people with this. No one really wants to hear this, but there's a lot of people around here doing kind of work on their boats anyway, little things, and so it shouldn't be a problem. Well, grinding off the Traveler. We got it off, but I need to smooth it down, unfortunately, and I burnt out my grinder. It stalled on something, and then, as you can see, it welded itself shut. Yeah. So, not the prettiest thing in the world, and unfortunately not something we're actively fix here. So, we're heading to town, hopefully buy a new grinder, and can finish this up tomorrow, maybe.
Yes, without pissing off our neighbors too much more.
Yeah. Luckily, it only took, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Probably about 10 minutes to cut it off, so I think we're all right. The other thing, too, is people just keep coming and going.
Yeah.
So tomorrow will be a new set of people to piss off anyway.
I was going to say, these people here never stay long.
Yep.
Which is good.
The other thing, too, is we waited until today was a rainy day, and so there weren't people on the beach at all. There weren't people sitting in their cockpit, you know, everyone's sitting down below watching movies or whatever it is. And as soon as it cleared up for 2 seconds is when I came out here. So hopefully we didn't impose too much on anyone.
Now that we are in need of a new grinder so that Matt can finish getting the rest of our Traveler off. Of course the wind gusts would go as soon as I start talking. We are putting the dinghy down to take us into town, which is about 2 miles away. So we've got our topped off with fuel. I believe Matt has our spare fuel tank again because we definitely don't want to be running out on the way. VHF is in the bag, so I guess it's time to take that long dinghy ride on our little 3.3 horsepower, which I'm starting to realize kind of needs a name because most dinghies have little nicknames, but it's not our dinghy that gets us everywhere. It's our little horsepower that could. So if you know of a name, think of it. We'd love to hear it, and so we can start properly addressing it for getting us everywhere that it should. We made it in, the little 3.3, still to be named. No problems. It was quite a wet ride in, just starting to dry off. Took us about 25 minutes to go those 2 miles. But yeah, the ride back should be much more comfortable. So now I just need to find a hardware store. Whew, a little windier on this side of the island.
I finally get a Festool item.
Get a what?
I always wanted one. High quality. Only thing I can afford is her sandpaper. I can't even afford that.
Verdict on the grinder is that it's not going to happen. It's not the right voltage. We need 120, it's 210. And plus it was like 130 euros, so for whatever he said. So for this project, just gonna get some heavy duty sanding discs. These are 60 grit. It kind of sucks because there's actually 24 grit, but in the next size up we need 5-inch, and I think the next one is 7, so I don't think they would stay on there very well. But make do with what we have, and I'm sure Matt, it's gonna be his project, we'll just spend a couple extra hours grinding that down to a smooth surface, so we'll make it work eventually. So right now we are sitting in Anse de Colombier. I had it. I knew it. No, I'm in the shadow of the mast.
Yeah.
Is there a goat?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've been going for a long time.
Where are you, little goat? Wind picked up and we had to change to a stronger tripod so the camera doesn't blow over. So we went into town today. Dang it. We're gonna get through this, I promise.